Hey Flosstube, this is Christy, the Raven Cross Stitcher. Welcome back to my channel if you're one of my subscribers. If you're brand new, hi, hello, welcome. I'm Christy, I'm a cross stitcher. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. This is my channel where I mostly talk about cross stitch. I know I'm very late. This is Tuesday, February 4th. I'm very late for this video, I know. I've been sick the past few weeks, or 6 weeks. I've had the cold, I had the flu, I had a stomach bug, and then a cold again, and I'm still kind of recovering from all that and trying to keep up with WIPGO and everything else. So I am so sorry. I know I also said I was going to do a video of my friction pins. Unfortunately, like, I was coughing way too much when I did the video, so I'm gonna have to scrap whatever I did and redo it all over again, and it's gonna have to be in a later date. So yes, that's what's going on with that. Just life. My body just hates me. Yes, I live in San Diego, or San Diego County. We have had some wildfire stuff here and there. Nothing too close to my house, thankfully. There was a few notable ones, and they're quickly taken care of, so they weren't any big concerns, not like LA. But yeah, that's where I am with that. And now moving on, WIPGO. If you are brand new to cross stitch and you haven't heard of WIPGO, it's pretty much just a bingo but with our whips. If you want any more information, more detail, I'm not going to go into detail of what it all is, but I will defer you to Jessie Marie, or Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's the admin for the Facebook group. She's the one who calls the numbers. She does have a Flosstube channel where she did do a video back in December about WIPGO, any of the changes, updates, and everything like that. So I'm just going to defer you to her. She has all the information you need. I'm not going to get into all that right now. What I will say is this is my third year participating in WIPGO. I did do WIPGO in 2022 and 23. 22, like, it was like a last minute decision for me. So like a week before it started, I just grabbed 25 of my whips, threw them on the board, and I stitched on them. One thing I've noticed was there were some whips that I wanted to stitch on again or continue stitching on it, but I had to stop and put that down because the next numbers were coming up and I needed to focus on the new ones. And I planned to have, like, circle back and do those whips again, but that never happened. So for the second year, I decided to change up my boards a little bit. First off, I had two boards. I had a BAPS board, and I had what I refer to as my smalls. BAPS is BAP, Big Ass Projects. Pretty much all my whips that were larger than 30 inches fabric went on that board. So I'm talking about my big ones. I had a Heaven Earth Designs on there. I had some, one I'm going to show you right now in a minute, and some other ones that were just larger. My small boards is anything that's smaller than 30 inches, which I got a lot of comments, being people like saying your smalls are not that small. Compared to my BAPs, yes, they're small, but no, they're not really small. They're just smaller. So yeah, my BAPS board, I had 5 whips on that board, and they were on the board 5 times each. So by the end of the year, I did have, like, really good progress on my larger pieces because I did stitch on them so many times throughout the year. My BAPS board, I had 12 pieces on that board, and I had them on the board 2 times each. So I had the goal a little bit smaller for the year, but I still had really good progress on those pieces. So both years ended up being pretty good. But one thing I noticed was I had a hard time struggling on some of the months for both of those years. Stitching on pieces I was not in the mood to stitch on. I tend to usually stitch on what I feel like stitching, and if I force myself to stitch on something I'm not feeling, I tend to lose my stitchy bug. So that was one thing I struggled with both of those years. So this year, when I'm working on WIPGO, I decided to do things a little bit differently. Hold on one second. Okay. So this year for WIPGO, instead of assigning certain whips to my board, I instead just assigned a certain number of whips. So for example, numbers for January were numbers 11 and number 20. Number 11, sorry, I need my paper here. Number 11, I had to choose 3 whips and stitch on them 2,050 stitches on each one of those 3. For number 20, I had to choose 2 whips and stitch on them 2,500 stitches on them each. So in total, I was going to work on 5 different whips and doing 11,150 stitches, which isn't that bad. Some of my goals, 3 of my goals I did complete. The other 2 I did not, which is fine. It's fine. My goal is just to keep myself stitching and keep me motivated stitching and not lose my stitchy bug. So, the first whip I did this year is my Wizard Game mandala. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit so I can put a picture right here what it looks like. I've been working on this for a few years. I started at 20,308 stitches. I stopped at 22,361 stitches, completing my goal. Here's the whole thing. I want to go in close and I'm going to insert a before picture right here. I mostly worked on the quaffle, bludger, and the snitch in the center. So this is one of my goals I did complete. Second one was Welcome to Diagon Alley. Again, pictures right here. Okay, I started at 11,565 stitches, stopping at 13,623. Actually, let me... Okay, for this one my goal is slightly different anytime I stitch on this. Pretty much this is my magic temperature cell, and every month I will be stitching 1 complete row. So the row is sometimes going to be a little bit smaller than what my actual goals are because I just threw random numbers on my WIPGO board. So yes, every month is 1 row, and every bottle in that row is a day. So this is my magic temperature cell. This is the temperature of Okinawa. The last full year I lived there before moving back to the States, so 2023. So the last row I did was this one. That was May. My Hogwarts in a bottle. This piece, I don't have the exact numbers of when I start because I didn't write it down. But I can tell you I missed the goal by roughly 200, 300, possibly 400 stitches, which is fine. At least I got some progress in it. So this is where I am at, and then I will put the picture right next to it of before. Okay. And last whip, I did complete it. Before I talk about this, okay, so if you watch my previous Flosstube video, then you know I mentioned doing the Brooks Books Princess series. I have the complete series. I purchased it roughly 8 years ago. Shortly after buying the series, at the time it was like one princess released every month for 12 months. So when I first joined, it was already 3 princesses into the series. And then a few months later, I decided to buy the accessory pack. Sometime during all that, Brooks was diagnosed with cancer, and I got updated emails because her treatment was delaying the release of the princesses towards the end. What should have been 1 year to release the princesses ended up being almost 2 years, I believe, which is understandable. That's fine. But unfortunately, last month, or in December, Brooks lost her battle with cancer, and yes, it was very sad for the whole cross-stitch community, especially on her Facebook page. A lot of people were sharing their princess, their witches, their angels, all the other characters that she done over the years, designed. Her husband, when I purchased the accessory pack, he was the one who was fulfilling the orders and making sure everything was mailed out in time, and he was helping her with everything. He wrote a message on her Etsy shop saying he put it on vacation because the Etsy shop would not release any of the funds to him because it's not under his name, it's under his wife's name, and he's trying to scrape up money to fulfill the orders that had already been placed. So it seems like, I'm not a lawyer or anything. I know I should probably ask my sister because she is. It seems like he doesn't have power of attorney or whatever to take over everything, and of course everything's copyright under her name, as you know it should be, but unfortunately he cannot do anything about it. He cannot sell her stuff and anything like that. So you can no longer purchase any of her designs unless someone has a hard copy, which I do have other hard copies of other whips. I think I do have some of the princesses too. Because originally I purchased the hard copies when I first got the princess series. And then later on I moved, and I emailed Brooks to let her know that I had moved and I want to continue getting those pieces. So I sent her my email address, or my new address, so she can mail them. But she not only sent me the physical copies, she also sent me all the PDFs as well. I was not expecting that. But that's when I also decided to buy the accessory pack, because of that. But anyways, since hearing about her passing, I am more determined than ever to complete my goal of stitching one princess a month. So for January, I finished Cinderella. This looks so much better in person, and it's so much bigger. I thought it was going to be smaller for some reason, because I've seen other people finish these and it looks smaller to me, but this is absolutely gorgeous. I did this on plastic canvas. I did do time-lapse videos. They're coming out very soon. In the next 2 weeks or so, you'll start seeing the time-lapse videos on my channel. This is a very, very gorgeous piece. I love the detailing. I did use all the beads and all the chronics. How do you say that? I don't think I'm saying that right. It's a beautiful, beautiful design. I've had this charts for 8 years. The only thing that like kept intimidating me was not being able to have grid lines on plastic. I have a vision of how I want to finish FFOing these, but I want to do all the princesses first before I do it. There's still more details I need to do, so it's not 100% finished. There's memory threads and more chronics, I think I'm saying that right. Detailing to do on the dress. There's some rosettes I gotta do. There should be one on the shoe and a few on the dresses. There is a piece with the perforated silver paper that goes on the choker. I just wanted to finish the complete princess series before I FFO these, just to make sure I have everything done before I start the next process. And then I also have a special case that I'm using to store them in. It's similar to the cases that I'm using back here. They're just a little bit better. So because of the glass seed beads, I've had accidents before where I put too much pressure on the beads and they are glass and they do break. I spent a long time putting this together. I don't want to go back and try to redo anything, so I'm putting this case for now. But anyways, yes. Any of the Brooks Books designs, if you're trying to look for them now, it's gonna be pretty much difficult to do. This is not the first one I've done. I actually done another one before, which, let me scoot over here so I can put a picture of what it looks like. This is a piece I did for my niece a few years ago for when she got married. This kind of started me on the whole Brooks Books designs and stuff, was because of this. I really enjoyed stitching on it. It really came out really, really, really nice. And the cross stitch community lost a really good designer. So, yeah. So moving on, WIPGO February numbers were 7 and 8. For me, that will be 2 whips, 2,500 stitches, and then 3 whips with 1,750 stitches, for a total of 10,225 stitches. So that's gonna be my goal for February. Thankfully the numbers are a little bit smaller because February is a little bit shorter month. I will continue doing the Brooks Books series, the princesses. They were all number order, all the princesses. So I think I'm gonna just continue stitching on them in that order. So the next one is Snow White. I don't have the exact number count of the stitches, but I know it's gonna be more than what the goal is here. It did take me about 4 days to complete this, 4 long days to stitch on this. So that's probably how long it's gonna take me to do Snow White. The only other whips that I plan to do is the Magic Temperature Cell. I'm gonna continue stitching on that until it's finished. There's some other details I need to add in there, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it yet. But for now, I'm just going to continue stitching on the bottles. As what I will continue doing for my other whips, as of right now, I'm not sure, to be honest. I stitch on what I stitch on, whatever I feel like stitching on in that moment. So if I were to tell you right now, I'm going to stitch on A, B, and C, and then once the time comes and I start stitching on it, I realize I don't want to stitch on this. I want to stitch on E, F, G. Like I want that freedom, pretty much. So the only ones for sure that I'm doing is Snow White and then the Magic Temperature Cell. Everything else, I am gonna change it. It might be the same ones I did in January, it might not be. So you're gonna have to come back in 3 weeks to see if I finished my goals. And also the next numbers are coming out for next month. But until then, thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Happy stitching. Bye.